which refers to the recent uncovering of the fact that major health benefits result from contact with the Earth's energy field by walking barefoot. Wearing conductive footwear, such as leather, also works. But because I was desperate, I went for the whole treatment from head to toe, regardless of the temperature. After about 20 minutes of lying naked on the bare earth,
so ibig sabihin hinubad niyang damit niya, tapos kumuha siya ng earth, talagang binaon niya ang katawan niya sa lupa.
and below freezing temperatures, a wave of calm had come over me, and I felt warm and tingly. The next morning, something was missing. It was the pain in my back, and both of my hands were no longer numb.
Yung numb meaning kasi malamig, at saka yung back pain dahil bubuhat siya ng mga mabibigat na mga troso. Yun.
This was crazy. How could this have occurred? Was it my imagination? Did I simply tell myself the pain would go away if I touched the earth, and by doing so it would? I decided to try a different method. Of course, I didn't want to stay connected to the earth by lying outside in the cold. Since earthing or grounding is all about soaking up the earth's free electrons, all I needed to do was stick a grounding rod into the earth and bring the energy right into the cabin. And while I was at it, why not start an experiment to see if this magic works on other living things? And so, I also cut 2 sprigs off a cottonwood sapling, grounding one and not the other, to see if it would influence the sprouting of the buds. This, I thought, would be the litmus test. But hey, why stomp with cottonwood twigs? It was almost Valentine's Day, and my helper Rocky delivered ideal additional specimens for my experiment. Thank you. I put the first batch of lilies in the new workshop edition, which were not grounded to the earth, and even added the stuff that comes with store-bought flowers to give them a longer shelf life. The other batch for the grounding experiment. But the next morning, after sleeping grounded, something else was happening. I noticed I wasn't grinding my teeth in my sleep anymore either. Things started coming into focus rapidly after that. The cottonwood sprig that was in the grounded vase sprouted before the other one. And then the verdict was in between the grounded and ungrounded lilies. Guess which lily kept its petals the longest? The grounded lily, of course. All the ungrounded lilies in the new workshop edition had long been dead. It is a moment like this that you just want to jump on your snow machine and get to the first person you can think of who is suffering.
So, anong na-observe niya? Yung binaon niya ang katawan niya doon sa lupa, ay nagkaroon siya ng calm na pakiramdam, tapos yung pain niya sa back ay nawala, tapos yung numbness sa kamay niya dahil sa lamig ay nawala din. So yan ang isa sa mga epekto ng nangyari sa kanya ay grounding improves blood flow. Ayan. Before grounding, tayo na explain natin sa kanila. Isa yun. So anong explanation ng mga yan, lalo na yung na-experience ng taong yun doon sa Alaska? So ito ang explanation niya. So understanding EMFs, electromagnetic force, what they are and how they affect your health. So ito ay independent na mga community na tinatawag na EMF Center. Ito si Michael Newhart at saka si Satya Giordano. So in-screenshot ko itong video na to para mayroon din silang explanation. Ayoko na rin mag-explain, at least dito na may na siya sa mayroon na siyang explanation sa unnatural, polluting, unhealthy, trauma-based, yan, mainstream hyper-independence, consumption of resources, racial, facial fundamentalism, human monoculture, so ang counterpart nito is community cooperation, sustainable ecological living, tolerant divergent view spirituality, diversity and inclusion, emotional depth work. So itong natural, simple, healthy, cooperation-based na pamamaraan o approach para sa wellness?
Sort of the usual world. On the left here, I have the things that are sort of the mainstream world. Things like, the hyper-independence of the mainstream culture, overconsumption of resources, kind of the human monoculture out there, versus on the right here, some of the things that are more what we're often trying to do in community. Our values, we're heading for community cooperation, sustainable ecological living, tolerating divergent views, even maybe doing a deeper emotional work, less isolation, more connection. So those are some of the values. And then there's also the more down-to-earth physical things, right? Depending on yourself and where you're going, you can see I have a bit of a rural trend for where I want to go with community. My big complaint where I live is light pollution. I'm in the country, but I can't see the stars at night. So one of my values is, community where you can see the dark sky, see the stars, more peace and quiet. Organic farming, real food. Maybe vegetarian community, or at least humane treatment of animals, fresh air, emotional support. Those kind of physical things that sometimes we go to communities to have more ecological, more environmental, more healthy kind of living on all levels. And I'm going to add to this list, which you don't usually see, natural EMFs of the earth.
Yan. So mayroong electricity and wireless EMF. Grabe ngayon ang mga wireless natin. Cellphone, router, microwave. Grabe ang proliferation ng mga na to. Pero dito naman sa natural, simple, healthy at saka cooperation based na approach natin ay mayroong tinatawag natural EMFs of the earth. So mayroong natural na electromagnetic field ang earth.
Versus all the EMFs from.
Yan ang punto ng presentation na to. So bakit natin isi-shield yung katawan natin? Halimbawa kung nandito tayo sa current na mundo, of course hindi tayo pwede bumalik sa Stone Age. Ito na yun May electricity talaga. May electricity, that means may electrical field saka magnetic field. Wireless naman, mayroon naman tinatawag na radio frequency, EMF. Hindi na tayo makakawala nito. So yung approach natin is mag-natural EMF tayo to the earth. So gagawa tayo ng natural grounding versus doon sa hindi.
Sort of the usual world. On the left here, I have the things that are.
Okay, the earth makes natural electromagnetic field. Ibig sabihin yung earth mismo ay mayroon siyang natural EMF. Mayroon. So kung may EMF ang mga electrical appliance natin, yung transmission lines natin, may EMF din ang earth. Pero ang tawag noon natural. Yung isa nakakasira, ito naman ay nakakatulong. Yun lang ang ibig sabihin. Okay, pakinggan na.
Every time lightning strikes somewhere on the planet, it's like you're ringing the bell of the ionosphere. If you think of the ionosphere, if you look at the Earth, like say the surface of the Earth is here, and then up, 40, 50 miles, you have the ionosphere. There's like a between here. It's like a volume where the lightning vibrates. It's like electromagnetic vibration, and because this is the size of the planet, it vibrates waves that are size of the planet. And that frequency happens to be this, around 7.83 hertz. That's about 8 times a second. There's this vibration. That's a natural vibration of the Earth. This means you have the north-south poles in the magnetic field, but it's like they vibrate a little. It's like ringing a bell, and they go, And what's interesting about that frequency that the Earth vibrates at, it's called the Schumann resonance or the Schumann frequency. That's right at around the low alpha waves, a little bit of the theta. It's the same frequency as kind of relaxed brain waves, or a relaxed brain. Relaxation, visualization, creativity. That's the natural speed of the magnetic fields of the Earth. And just to give you an idea, the artificial stuff like the 60 hertz and the 50 hertz of electrical system, that's up here in gamma. That's in this kind of range, higher frequencies. And that's more here they're saying insight. Actually, it's more with like a very busy mind. So not necessarily bad, but the frequencies of electrical things around us are kind of like, okay, they're busy. We're doing this. We're doing that. You know, it's kind of a more mind is active kind of frequency. So that's kind of what's bombarding us around us from all our electrical things. But what's interesting is we do have a magnetic sense. We can sense the natural magnetic field of the planet. We can and do that. Just a quick little idea, homing pigeons, you might know, they can get where they need to go by the light of the sun, but in experiments they actually put little temporary contact lenses on the birds that stop them from seeing, and it turns out they have a magnetic sense. They still get to where they are going using the magnetic field of the Earth. So that's been proven, and now it's showing that almost everything animals on the Earth have, from bacteria to the vertebrates, can detect and orient to ambient magnetic fields. We have a magnetic sense.
So ambient magnetic fields, ibig sabihin na napipil natin ito all around us, yung magnetic field na to.
This was even proven in the 90s. Dr. Kirschvink here actually found magnetite crystals in the human brain. It's been proven in several different ways that we pick up magnetic fields. So everything from worms to whales has receptors for magnetic fields, and that includes us. We do have receivers. And so
ito yung,
don't have time to go into health effects, but basically the studies show that EMFs can be linked to leukemia, lymphoma, brain and nervous system cancers, melanoma, breast cancer.
So yung EMF, yung hindi natural na EMF, yung natural EMF, yung relax ka, pero mayroong hindi natural na EMF galing sa electrical systems natin, dahil sa transmission line, dahil sa wireless natin na technology nandito na sa atin. Yan ang pinanggagalingan ng mga variety of health problems. Yan, leukemia, hypoma, lymphoma, brain and nervous system cancers, melanoma, breast cancer, miscarriage, birth defects, Alzheimer's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, depression, and suicide. Pero mo kung ang anak mo ay, sabihin natin mayroon siyang depression, mag-ano lang siya, mag-grounding siya, at hopefully it will reduce the depressive syndrome. O kaya may suicidal siya, hopefully it will reduce the suicidal symptom o sa anak mo or sa kapatid mo or anybody else in the family.
Miscarriage, birth defects, Alzheimer's, Lou Gehrig's, even depression and suicide. And this is all in the studies.